Alright, good evening folks, and welcome to the Whitfield Report. I am your host, Sam Whitfield, broadcasting live from NGC Studios here in South Florida. Tonight's show is, it was a bit unexpected when I first heard about this. Last week after my show, I found out that Leo Stratton, who was a friend of mine and a friend of this show, passed away last Wednesday in what appears to be an accident. And it was quite a shock. Leo was on the show 6 times over the years, and he was a dear friend of mine, and his friend and our mutual acquaintance, our mutual friend, Dan Sandini, who is also a mentor of mine and has been on this show multiple times as well. He joins me now to discuss what possibly happened to Leo, and also we just wanted to pay tribute to him as well. So, Dan, let me pull you up on screen here, and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sam. Thanks for having me on.
So, Dan, without getting too, grisly, first of all, I just want to say thank you for coming on the show, especially, during this difficult time. First off, I guess I would just like to ask you, how did you first meet Leo and get to know him over the years? I've never asked you that in all the time I've known you.
That's an interesting question because it was citizen journalism that brought us together. So for your listeners who may not be aware of what my background is I currently live in St. Petersburg, Florida, but I spent a decade in Portland, Oregon, which is ground zero for Comedy Central for most of the United States. There's a couple of places, I guess, that are a little bit more comedy than that, right? There would be Berkeley and San Francisco. But I'm trying to think of other places. That's pretty much the Austin, Texas, comes to mind, and Greenwich Village, New York. But in any case, I wander a little bit, but I've been a citizen journalist down there, recorded Occupy, started a YouTube channel back when YouTubing was not like a huge thing, and covered the Occupy movement. Following the Occupy movement, about 5 years ago, I started doing a class. So I started making a presentation because I knew that I couldn't do it forever. I knew that I couldn't go down and face these guys, put the camera in their face, ask them hard questions, and show them in their realistic light, what I believe is in their realistic light, which is in their worst light, and be attacked by them. So I started giving this class, and lo and behold, someone out of all the people I was trying to remember, Sam, that have ever come to my class, the only person that I can ever remember that has diligently picked up a camera and kept filming. I've had people, definitely a lot of people who help out on events, Cheryl, just tons of people that have showed up and, and have gone to events with me. But the only person to ever, soup to nuts, ever pick up a video camera and start their own YouTube channel was Leo Stratton. So, and at that event, it was at Round Table Pizza in Portland at an AFP, Americans for Progress, and Roxanne Ross, who was the head of that organization in Portland, had asked me to come and speak. I went, I gave a 1-hour presentation, Videographer 101, and had some Breitbart slides in there with some Breitbart quotes to talk about Andrew Breitbart. And Leo was there at that event. And I can tell you, Leo was a guy who was a man on a mission in need of a weapon. That's what I'll say. He didn't know what he wanted, but when he saw the video camera and the connection, the light came on. Okay, well, this is how he could damage people. He got the bug, and I could tell you more about that event. But after that event, Sam, he wouldn't leave me alone. He's a pest. He kept asking me, and so finally I bought him a camera. I bought him his first camera, sent it to the house. His car got broken into. He left it on the seat. That got broken into in his truck at the gym. someone stole his camera, and American Express has this. I don't, you don't have paid advertising on the show, but they have this great program where if you keep your receipts for electronic items, that was covered. So I bought him a new one off of Amazon, again, have it sent to the house. And after that, Leo he took off. And he, for the viewers that aren't aware, he blew away. Myself and Laughing at Liberals are the two big Portland videographers. And I think Leo's an order of magnitude of ahead of us in views and subscribers, both. Subscribers, like, out of control. I mean, the channel is just like, I have to get in with his wife, Shelley. I really feel bad. They're just such an awesome couple, and I'm very good friends with Shelley Stratton as well. And, somebody's going to get control of this channel at some point, I would imagine. I don't know what happens to that, but it's a very valuable piece of real estate, internet real estate.
Well, yeah, I was actually going to say, while we were off air, we didn't have time, but I was going to say someone does need to take control of his YouTube channel, which was amazing. And from personal experience, just for the viewers who don't know, I've kind of I recapped this in the last interview that you and I both did, but I first met Dan because of a mutual acquaintance of ours, Tammy Jackson, who I met through the Hugh Hewitt radio show when I was part of Hugh's premium podcast, subscriber base, whatever you want to call it. And I was a senior in high school at the time, and Occupy Unmasked, which you're in, had just come out. And so we got connected, and the rest is history, as they say. And Leo, at the time I met you, I think you had just met Leo, and he kind of came along with you, and he was on the show 6 times, and then I think he called in at a couple more times just as a caller back when I was able to take calls on this show. So he was not only instrumental in videography, but I kept trying to convince him that he should do a podcast as well, because he was a really good podcast guest. And I think I talked to him about a month ago before he died, and he was thinking about doing that, but unfortunately, that won't happen now. So but he was huge. He grew pretty quickly in terms of growth, and he got featured on both, I believe, Fox and InfoWars, along with a couple other outlets too. And it was he was always great about providing videos for my show too. Anytime there was a viral video that he thought would be worth exploring, he would send the link to me, and then he would come on to talk about that event. So
well, that's the thing. Leo is a great videographer, and he provides content. As videographers, that's really a key relationship, I think, in terms of influencing things politically. Is videographers provide content, free content that's out there. In many cases, like the case of Leo, it's better coverage than the stringers or the professionals for the local television stations get.
Right.
Because they're on the spot, right? And so that makes the connection of folks like you that reach a lot of people on your podcast. So it's this sort of symbiotic relationship between podcasting and videoing, I guess, videographers and videoing events, and they're all, I guess, under the umbrella of citizen journalism. So it's sort of like this microcosm of real media, which is actually fake media, right? Think about it, right?
Sure.
That's what we do.
Sure, although, I kind of qualify myself a citizen journalist / quasi-entertainer, because I also, do a lot of entertainment stuff too and whatnot. But yeah, you're right. That's the other thing is it's funny how I'm doing this with just a Mac computer and a microphone that costs $200 off Amazon, and I don't have any special rig or anything, and yet what you and I are doing just as independent citizen journalists is getting more impressions than CNN, who has the $1 million, the multi-million-dollar studios and the setups, and they can't, they're the pinnacle of fake news, and everyone hates them just because of how dishonest they are.
They have sponsors. We don't, maybe you have some of the in-between, I don't know, but it's probably not much. And it's the same with me. I don't have any. That's really the way you can do damage to the left, is if you're not beholden to anyone. Because typically, like with Fox News, take Fox News for example. They have bent lately to the left. There's no question in watching it that they've bent to the left, and it's because of who owns them and who their sponsors are. I guarantee you that it's all about who's tuning in and whose products are represented and what the impression they want of those products to be. But,
yeah, I think also in regards to Fox, this is going to be considered a controversial statement, so I'm sure I'll get clipped. But, I think, Fox really started going downhill around the time Roger Ailes died, and then, Megyn Kelly came out with, well, he sexually assaulted me, and then so did Kimberly Guilfoyle and all of these, Fox News anchor babes, as Rush liked to call them, or likes to call them. And, ever since kind of this whole Me Too thing has erupted, they've kind of slanted more moderate left. I mean, they still have Hannity and, a few good conservatives on there, thank God. But, yeah, it is starting to move more moderate. So...
yeah, I think Megyn Kelly was Me Too before Me Too. I don't think they were using that yet. And then I think it took a few people from the left to come forward for that to actually kind of catch on. But yeah, Megyn Kelly, and you're right, that was the beginning of the downslide for Fox News. And, well, thank God they're still in business, because it's really the only alternative, I'll say, that's out there in terms of mainstream media, cable news networks for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think CRTV or whatever that network Crowder is on right now, I mean, they're trying to take off, and they're doing pretty well. But the problem is that's a subscription, based thing that you have to sign up for, and a lot of people, I mean, I'm signed up, but as I've said on air before, and I'm hoping Crowder or someone sees this, your app is terrible. You need to fix the bugs, otherwise I'm canceling after,
oh yeah, you mentioned that the last time I was on the show, so it hasn't improved.
No, I mean, they're supposed to do a revamp of some sort. Their content is good, but hey, it's a little overpriced for what it is. It's $69 even if you're a student, and then $99 if you're not. So I mean, but kind of bring it full circle back to Leo. I mean, that's honestly the great thing about what he did, putting out free content and whatnot, and the other thing I loved about Leo too was he was what Andrew Breitbart described as a happy warrior. Nothing really fazed him. He would always joke about a lot of the material in his videos too. When it was appropriate, like. Antifa, he would just make fun of them and whatnot. At least when he was on this show, and, we had a good time.
Yeah, something else to say, he was well respected by a lot of people, and I agree with exactly what you said, that, he would epitomize what Andrew Breitbart would say as a citizen journalist, just somebody who picks up their phone or picks up their camera or whatever and just pointed at anybody from the left. I guarantee you, for your listeners who are new to this, and you and I are old hat now. I mean, I've been doing this and I've stopped doing it, okay? If you look at my channel, which, by the way, is daylightdisinfectant.com, and you can see me on YouTube at youtube.com/daylightdisinfectant. If you look at my videos, we just started. I mean, now there's new people coming in, okay, to this whole thing. And Andrew Breitbart just said, pick up your camera and point it at anybody from the left. I'm not quoting it exactly, but you're going to get something. I guarantee you, it's going to be something that you're going to get. Any video will get hundreds of views. And then if you just hang around long enough, you're going to say something that's just a whack job, because these people truly are. I mean, it's like Michael Savage says, it's a mental illness. they're eventually going to say something completely crazy that doesn't make any sense. And, and sky's the limit in terms of what you can do for, views and subscribers. And I think it's important that this stuff, and a lot of stuff is just dangerous. And it's just crazy whack job stuff that is, like socialism taking over right now inside of the Democrat Party. You get people spouting off about socialism, but don't know the first thing about the war between Israel and Palestine.
Right.
In any case, it's you're going to get something. And Leo was great about going to these events. Tireless, Sam. I would give him that adjective.
Oh.
Leo was tireless.
Oh yeah. When he wasn't working his day job, he was doing citizen journalism, and even when he was on the road as a trucker, like I said, he would call into the show on when I used to have my show on Sundays. And I had a call in line. He would call in just to sometimes I wasn't even talking political stuff. Sometimes we would just BS about movies for like 15 minutes or something like that. I mean, he was just great about all around topics too.
He's also really big. You probably weren't even aware of it, Sam, but he's really big inside of the Republican Party, and he was really big inside the Republican Party in a place where it's very difficult to be a Republican. Probably the most difficult place is to Multnomah County, Oregon. There aren't many Republicans down there, but Leo always went to the events. He's always gone to their table and done time at their tables. All of these gun rally events that we had down in the Capitol at Salem, covered every one of them, put their speeches up. And some of these things don't get any view. There's no thanks for it at all.
Right.
It's very important to document this stuff, for posterity and to have on the record, how various politicians, respond, what their views actually were in their own words is recorded on his YouTube channel. Now, hopefully they don't take the channel down. I really don't know what they do, which is, I'll have to Google that afterwards to find out what they do, but I don't want to lose those videos. It might be worthwhile for me to steal his top 10 videos just to have them, just in case that channel goes dark.
That's what I've actually done that with a couple of yours and, a couple of Laura Loomer's too. And, yeah, I mean, you have
just as a backup in case something happens to us,
Well, I even back up my own videos all the time just because, if I haven't had this happen on this channel yet, but if you get copyright struck or get your channel shut down, then if you don't have a backup, then you're pretty much kind of hosed.
Always have a backup for your new listeners that are out there. I have met, shaken hands with, and talked to the chairman and CEO of Twitter. What's his name? Jack. I have met him and talked to him, and as embarrassing as that conversation was, I did not get it, and I did not have a backup. I failed in my own attempt to have it. I didn't have a backup running, but I knew what I had running was good and solid, but some reason it didn't work. So, you always, if it's anything that's any good, 9 times out of 10, your primary's going to fail. So, lesson number 2, after you turn on your camera, second thing is always have a backup. It's a great lesson now.
Yeah. So I have, someone in the chat also, mentioned Laura Loomer as a citizen journalist, and I believe you actually knew Laura, or somewhat.
Don't know Laura. Yes, I know her very well. She's a very good person, and I don't always agree with her tactics, but some of them are just, Laura is somebody who is not afraid as well. She's like Leo in that way, actually. Courage is not that you're not afraid.
Right.
The difference between being courage and being a coward is both cowards and people who have courage, heroes, are both afraid. It's what you do. It's your actions after that. And both Laura and Leo, I think, are both very courageous people. Take Laura, for example. You think of the risk of this personal, personal risk to yourself in terms of like dressing in, full Islamic woman's gear, whatever you call it. It's not a hip jab. It's a I can't remember.
Yeah.
The entire penguin outfit. There, I'll say it. And showing up, you know, and saying your Huma Abdeen, you know, I mean, and getting her ballot, not taking it, but getting it in your hands. I mean, you know, that's a risky proposition for walking into a voting place like that. You know, I mean, you're going to draw a lot of attention, and, you know, just some cop that just doesn't think something's right. You're not breaking any laws, but, you know, pulls you aside, and, you know, and then the left catches you, or they throw a punch at you, and she's been attacked. She's been attacked multiple times. You know, Leo's been attacked, too, and that's probably something we want to talk about, but you know, some of the risks that are involved that Leo faced in terms of being a citizen journalist. But, yeah, they're both great people. Both, that's going to be another adjective that I would use with Leo. Definitely with Laura, too. Laura, you know, Laura's got a set of, she wouldn't mind me saying it, and we can say it because we're on the internet. She got a set of balls, and she's not a guy.
Right.
So, there you go.
She's also pretty good looking, too. So, you know, at least in my opinion. So.
Better looking than Leo, that's for sure. That's for sure. Rest in peace, Leo. Sorry, I should be bad about you, but you laugh.
They're not looking at me either. Don't worry. Tommy Lahren gets way more views. Well, actually, you know, and that's the other thing though is, you know, Laura, you know, although she's also good looking, she's also very you know, she's still a citizen journalist and she still knows her stuff. You know, a lot of these Fox News, you know, type anchor babes, you know, they're good at looking good, and they're good at you know, presenting the talking points of the conservative movement. But like Tommy Lahren went on Comedy Central on the Daily Show, which, you know, is literally a comedy show, and she got skewered by Trevor Noah. You know, and kind of stumbled around, whereas, you know, like someone like, you know, Laura still, you know, is pretty integral and knows her stuff, so.
Yes, she knows all these people as well, too. She's a good person for knowing the left and who's involved and, you know, what their roles are. And, you know, it's a very complicated beast, like Breitbart was, you know, obviously a master. Understood that entire org chart, the org chart for the left, you know. Laura knows the org chart for the left and who all these people are. Now, I don't know them from... If you point me at a target and tell me who that target is, I'm fine. And a lot of people I know, like Michael Moore, okay, I know. But honestly, I'm sort of like a weapon that needs to be directed in some ways, because like the Michael Moore thing, that wasn't even on my radar. Laughing at Liberals couldn't go. I said, hey, did you know Michael Moore's in town? No. I said, have you watched his documentaries? Yeah, I think a long time ago. You know, you should go down there. All right, I'll go down there. And it's obviously one of the biggest. People should check that out. Check out my Michael Moore video on daylightdisinfectant.com. Just Google, put in the search box or Daylight Disinfectant and Michael Moore, because it's a huge video and people still comment on it. You know, you get these alerts from Google. Your videos live on long after you decide you're not going to pick up the camera anymore, because people, you know, still comment on the video.
Well, I also send people to that video a lot, because I am very fond of making fun of Jabba the Hutt, as I like to call him. So.
And let me just tell that to your viewers. So your viewers, most of them will never meet Michael Moore. I've been as close to Michael Moore as I am to you right now. And he is the biggest. I can honestly say he's close to Benjamin Carenza, who's another person we could talk about. But the biggest person I have ever met in person is Michael Moore. That guy had to weigh 400 pounds when I saw him. And the woman in the video, listen to the video, the woman is shouting out, make way for him up these stairs off the microphone as I'm chasing him down with the camera. You know, just saying, make way for him up these stairs. You had to. It's like a parting of the seas for this huge behemoth of a man, you know. And I don't hold it against him. He's, you know, if that's the way you want to spend your life, is, you know, eating a little extra, that's your business. Okay, that's your business. But what I will criticize Michael Moore for, and what shows up best in that video, and the reason why you want to watch it, even though it's entertaining to see that fat. Any case, But he's a hypocrite. He's a hypocrite, and that was Breitbart was very good at pointing out the hypocrisy of the left. You know, and that's there's no better target than Michael Moore.
Yeah, the guy. I gotta hand it to him. The guy is still making movies, and that no one sees. I don't know how he's still getting funding because no one ever sees his movies. But hey, he's making them. So.
How does he's coming out with or came out with an anti-Trump doc? Did that come out yet? I don't know. I heard he was. He had or he was. I don't know. I'll have to look it up afterwards. But.
Yeah. Let's. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to. Have my computer crash while we're on air by looking at Michael Moore just because. Just. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, though, one of the big things with this whole thing with Leo passing, and I kind of want to get your take on things. There have been theories that he was possibly offed, and I'm not one to jump on the whole, Leo was assassinated. I didn't want to jump to that conclusion automatically because, for views and whatnot, just because I think that's, just jumping to that without any forethought is pretty disrespectful, not only to him, but to Shelley and the people who are grieving. But, with that being said, Victoria Taft did, who for those of you who don't know, is a citizen journalist also from Oregon. She released an article about, the possibilities. So, what's kind of, I don't even know how to ask this, but what did you, okay, I hate to have to ask about this, but how did you first find out about Leo's passing? And then, what are your thoughts, about all this?
Okay, well, the way I found out was, news travels so fast through social media. That's the problem. Is that
right.
The typical channels for that, right? Are close friends and family get a phone call. A mutual friend notified me over social media. Said, have you heard about Leo? That was the message. I was like,
yeah, same here.
What? And then the next thing that happened is the phone rang and Shelley called me, or a friend of Shelley's called me from her phone, and let me know. And to a large extent, I mean, I'm doing the show, and it's probably kind of soon to be doing that. But I have found myself, and Leo was my best friend. I just tell you, I'm gonna jump off camera here for a second. I'm gonna walk across my living room and just show you what he gave me last Christmas. This is just kind of ad impromptu, but I have a picture of my mom. I have a picture of Leo and me, but we're very close. So yeah. It was a shock, but I mean, I handle death differently than different people, and one of the things I'm learning is that different people handle death and grieve differently. And I guess I'm more of I grew up a Catholic and went to a ton I'm Italian, okay, but I went to a ton of Irish wakes in Marlborough, Massachusetts, where I grew up. So I'm used to sort of dealing with it on a. Irish people just deal with it as a, they deal with it in humor in a lot of ways. And I just know Leo, and Leo would want me to be sad, of course, that he's gone, but he wouldn't want me to be sad for too long. So in any case, I found out from his family, and you're going to ask me about whether I believe Leo Stratton was murdered or not. And I guess that's the question. That's the real reality of it. And as a journalist, I have to look at it separately from being a friend. Okay, and if I really look at the circumstances behind his death, okay, and I look at people like Lavoie, who was absolutely murdered by if you ask me, the circumstances were set up by, Lavoie Finicum was murdered by the Oregon State Police. The and the FBI, but Leo's death, if you have to look at it, just that, you know, you look at a few things. You look at motive and opportunity, and people were motivated to kill Leo Stratton. I can tell you that right now. The Antifa, and I wasn't going to do anything. I was not going to call the Oregon State Police who were doing the investigation. I was not going to, but I did, because a friend of mine, a mutual friend of mine, said, you know, and he's ex-military, and, you know, and then I began to think, and I've had a lot of experience with, not CIA agents, but CIA agents from different countries. I'll go as far as that, but they're CIA. I've met them, I've talked to them, and these people have incredible capabilities when they're so motivated. And the Antifa just hated Leo Stratton. And I can give you a number of examples. They would have, you know, if they could have gotten away with it, they would have murdered him. Okay, I can tell you that. It's that level of hate that goes on. And for anybody that wants to look at the vile memes and, you know, just the things that were said about him on Twitter afterwards are just, it's just horrible. Victoria's done a great job. I love Victoria Taft, by the way. People should go to her website, victoriataft.com, and read that article. It'll tell them a lot more. But I can give you my take on the murder if you want.
Yeah, real quick, you know, you can't see it because you're on Skype, but the viewers, I'm screencasting, in addition to our Skype video, I'm screencasting the article from Victoria's website, or at least the headline. So, you know, people can see that. And for those of you listening in the audio link, you know, I'll have the link to Victoria's article as well as Leo's channel and other things too. But yeah, what is your take on the whole thing? Just because people have asked me, because I knew Leo too, and I'm like, well, I'm not really the person. I mean, let me put it this way. I was friends with Leo, you know, I do consider him a friend, but I knew him on, you know, Facebook, and, I mean, you two were close. You actually knew him, so I defer, yeah. So, you know, so if anyone can speak to, you know, whether or not he was murdered, and I've told people this, you know, I'm not the person to answer that question. I'm not even the person to, you know, speculate. Dan and Shelley at this point would have to be the ones, in my opinion, to.
I haven't spoken to Shelley about it. I don't think she would be angry with me for talking about it or expressing my opinion on it. As a matter of fact, I think she would say Leo would wanted you to talk about it the way he wanted to. And here's where I'm at, is that I don't have the resources to do this investigation. I live in Florida. Leo's in Oregon. There's only one organization that really has the opportunity to do that, and that's the lead investigators, the Oregon State Police. So, you know, the second thing I did, it was within 2-3 hours, is I called the Oregon State Police barracks up in Salem, Oregon, okay, and said, hey, I'm Leo Stratton's best friend, and whoever's in charge of the investigation for this thing should definitely be looking at the possibility that he was murdered. And I could tell the investigator why he should call me. I watch one of my hobbies is forensic files and that sort of thing. True crime novels, things like that. So, in any case, you know, you look at Leo, he's the only person out of anybody who's been assaulted. Now, Sam, you think about this. Think about all the people that have been assaulted. There's Crowder, there's me, there's James O'Keefe, there's Andrew Breitbart. You know, we've all been attacked by these people. Loomer, we've all been attacked. Of all the circumstances that I can ever think of, there's only one person, Leo Stratton, that has ever not only gotten a person to be charged with a crime, okay, in terms of assaulting the right, okay, they turn around on us all the time, okay, but in terms of getting the left charged and convicted, and it's for his biggest video, if people just, you know, Google Leo Stratton, you know, his YouTube channel is youtube.com/Leo Stratton, and his number one video, just click on the videos and sort them by views, is Screamer, okay, who is this, right? So he got Screamer convicted. I don't know if you know that or not, but Screamer is convicted of assault against Leo Stratton and is out on parole. So that's my number one. There's my number one suspect, okay, right there. But there are others as well that he's been in court with, okay, that have attacked him. And just so people know, people aren't going to know who Leo Stratton is. Okay, so he's a family man. He drove that same route every week. He was extremely conscientious about his sleep schedule the night before. I know he started out on Wednesday mornings, always in bed early on Tuesday nights, so you get enough sleep to go and do that run down the gorge. So he's done it many, many times before. I can't imagine him falling asleep. Not possible. Okay, so what am I going to do? What do I do with that? Okay, he had a heart attack. Okay, I suppose it's possible. Okay, but the only person that's going to be able to look at that is the coroner. And it's very easy to make a heart attack or even falling asleep at the wheel look like an accident. Okay,
right.
So I needed to pass on information about what he drank. I know the soft drink that he drank while he was there. I knew the cup that he drank out of while he was in the truck. Okay, I know to tell those cops to look for things like hexacholine, because you can easily give somebody a shot and make it look like a heart attack very easily. And so I needed to put it on the state police radar for them to at least have been warned about this. And now, if we get the files afterwards, and this cop, and I'm not going to mention his name yet, Victoria left his name out of her article too. She's obviously been in touch. She can't mind me saying it because it's in her article, but she's talked to the state police as well. Okay, so information has been given to them, which would put that circumstantial evidence that could put people inside of the state of Oregon at that time. We have their phone numbers, their cell phone numbers, so that they can easily be checked off towers to see if there's anybody anywhere near that thing. Okay. And so it's easy for the police to check, okay? And if they don't check, woe be it to them, because then we won't be keeping anybody's name secret. And in case they're watching, okay, I can tell you that my target will be, I will come out of retirement for the Oregon State Police, okay? If this investigation isn't done completely thoroughly, if they don't do a complete toxicology, if they don't check it out 100%, soup to nuts, okay, to make us sure. And you and I both know, we talked about it earlier, they didn't do it for Breitbart, okay? You got a half-ass autopsy, and the guy who did it died. So there was no no backup autopsy, and I know there's close friends of his, Ben Shapiro and whoever else says that no way it could happen. But, I personally, if I look at Breitbart, who I also knew as a friend, not as close as Leo, okay, but, I don't know. I'm a quarter 50-50 on Breitbart, but definitely weighing to the other side on Leo Stratton. There's no way. There's no way. It's too much of a conscience. It could be an accident. What are the possibilities? It could be an accident, okay? Okay, he could be fell asleep at the wheel, but I've never known him to do that in his life, and he's always conscientious about it. Nothing would make me, so what are the other things, okay? It could have been some sort of medical condition. That should show up in the autopsy. But even medical conditions can be made to look like a murder, and then there's murder. There's just out get rid of the enemy. And I don't know. If you get involved in this, never underestimate what the left is capable of. They are capable. The end justifies the means, and they have no morals whatsoever.
No.
So if I put it together, I say it's possible. It's quite possible, Sam. That's what I will say.
The thing that really disturbs me is I'm reading through Victoria's article, and this is public, so I'm not disclosing anything, but it looks like one of those Antifa motherfuckers made a hit list out of the
the videographers and the Proud Boys and the folks who were at the people who they call white supremacists, were mostly just Trump supporters. Anybody who wears a Trump sticker or ever had a Trump sign on their lawn is a white supremacist. People.
Yeah, they made a hit list based off of the Southern Poverty Law Center. That's what I was. And I'm
Leo made the list.
Well, I don't know. Well, Leo did make. According to this, Leo was on the SPLC's website.
Unbelievable.
But then, I'm not saying.
That's a bunch of bullshit. I can tell you that. You just said the F-bomb. I can say bullshit.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. Bunch of bullshit.
Yeah. And just to clarify, for legal reasons, I'm not saying the Southern Poverty Law Center made the hit list. Okay, I'm saying that the list for folks out there was based off of the SPLC, from what it's looking like according to this article. with that being said, I dislike the SPLC as well. Whatever good they started out to, I mean, they've become another political, they've just become another political hack machine for the left.
Did they go after the Antifa? No, and the Antifa has just been declared in the last week. I mean, there you go. Okay, you asked me, could Leo have been murdered? His worst enemy was the Antifa, and I can name the names. People high in the Antifa, okay? And they just got declared a domestic terror organization. So, what are they capable of? They're funded. They could, if you have infinite money and you have no scruples, you hire somebody. That's it. Okay, and you've got I'm trying to remember the guy who's running for governor, but you've got a possibility of getting a Republican governor in Oregon, and Leo fighting for him. So it's a great way to take him out of the picture now before these last couple of months before the election, which are the most important ones for the videographers. These town halls and things that Leo would be covering, are just going to go uncovered. Free reign for Kate Brown, who's the reigning, I'll call her the reigning governor of, since it seems to be some sort of, it's some sort of royalty thing in Oregon where you just get appointed to be, she did win an election, but she was appointed to begin with. But she did win the election.
It's just like the Daley machine in Chicago. The Daley machine has been running that town for what, 70 close to 80 years, almost consecutively. So,
the ex-police chief just died down here on from that Daley clan. Died down here very close to me. Within the last few days here, he's across the bay. I can't remember the name of the city that he lives in, but he's very very close to where I live down here. He retired down here. Good time. 10 years for a conspiracy or something like that. Anyway, we digress. But with Leo Stratton, they definitely had motive, opportunity. Now the evidence, you have to look at it, right? If you get motive and opportunity, you have to look at the evidence. And what's going to be left at? What perfect crime, right? Torture trap. It's like you're done. Now you're done. That's like how much what's going to survive that? And it just makes everything that much more difficult. It's a great way to commit the perfect crime. So, could it be either way? It could be either way. If I lean towards ways, maybe I watch too much Forensic Files, but I believe the worst of these people now. My naivete is starting to go away. I'm a very naive person, was brought up a Catholic, and I like to believe in the best of man. But being exposed to the left will take that out of you. Evil.
Yeah,
evil people.
I'm the same way. I'm generally an optimist, and I generally try and believe the best about people, and but based on how supercharged the left has become, Nick DiPaolo, who's a stand-up comedian, he got punched in the face by one of these Antifa people at a show, okay, just because he says politically incorrect things, and he went on Crowder a few months ago and talked, and he's the one who I'm quoting who's saying that he thinks there's going to be another civil war here if Antifa is not careful. So,
I think getting him on that. I think that he's not being outlandish because you look at what the FBI did. The FBI doesn't put organizations on their domestic terror list, and now they are really on the domestic terror list. And for all the liberals that are still inside the FBI, for them to have to take notice of that, it's I guess it's like these people, Earth First. Earth First, if I get the name of the organization right, one of these, they were named a domestic terror organization. No, the ELF, the Earth Liberation Front. Yeah, Earth Liberation Front are the guys who started torching buildings, and they ended up killing some people up in. It was 10 years ago, I think, that they finally got one of them. Okay, it was 2001 when they declared them a domestic terror organization, but they finally convicted someone of the fire up in Seattle or Olympia. I'm trying to remember it, in Washington, where they torched a building. They tried to torch this place that was doing genetic engineering, okay, at the university. They ended up getting the library in the in the event, which they didn't plan on, and people died in that, and they just convicted somebody, 10 years ago, and I think he got 25 or something like that. And it was a federal crime, so, for your listeners who don't know, if you're convicted of a federal crime, there is no parole in the federal system. You will do your whole time. so 25 years in the federal system is at least, I think that's my understanding of it. Yeah, you do the whole time. So, anyway, I drift, but Antifa, definitely, a domestic terror organization, definitely capable of killing Leo Stratton. If they had so desired, and I know they desired, well, there you go.
It seems to me too, and you're more of an expert with these freak shows than I am because you've stared them down. But when I met you, it was Occupy Wall Street, and now Antifa has. So to me, and I've said this, and I think I've asked you this before, but maybe it was off air and private. But to me, it seems like these Antifa freaks are just Occupy, just with a different name, or at least.
Yeah. I'll give you my take on that, and I think Victoria, if you read Victoria's article, she does a good job of tracing where the Antifa came from. But if you go back to, if you go back, you get to Occupy. One of the segments, and Occupy was a big collection of a lot of people. Many of them who were duped in by money and propaganda and so forth. But one of the groups that was in there were the Black Bloc anarchists.
Right.
Okay?
Right. Yeah.
I was scared to death of those people in Portland, and they are the same people. And the weird thing about it, Sam, is that so you've got the two most intense groups in that Occupy movement, and that even still work together, were your International Socialist Organization. Okay, so you get your socialists, which are your Trotsky socialists, which are way over on the left-hand side, and you've got your Black Bloc anarchists, okay, who are theoretically to the right of libertarians. Okay, they're but believe in violence. Okay, to get their way. Okay, of taking police and political and politicians out of power, and it somehow meets together like a donut. I forget who showed me that one time, but it's great. You can't think about it like the left and the right, but it sort of meets together back on that fringe edge. And so you get people, on the far left who are communists. Basically, it's probably as far as you can get to the left of the communists, and then you've got a Black Bloc anarchist. And you put those two together, and you got the two most extreme elements of Occupy. And this Antifa movement came out of these Black Bloc anarchists, and some of them are probably well motivated. Some of them probably believe they're in this fight against white supremacists, which I think if you really looked at it in America, it's going to be a fraction as vile and as disgusting as those people are. As violent and as disgusting as the KKK is, as neo-Nazis are, they are such a small percentage of the population in the United States of America that compared to the ISO, communist organization that believes in violence, okay, they have attacked David Horowitz, okay? They are on every campus inside the United States of America. So where's the balancing of these two things? So yeah, get back to your original question is these Black Bloc anarchists actually a lot of them moved right over into the Antifa movement, are now part of mainstream anti-fascism inside the United States. I hate calling them that, but that's what their name is. Okay, but they're no more anti-fascists. They may believe they're anti-fascist. They're anti-America.
Right. No, and they're the most fascist. That's the other thing is after Charlottesville and the whole alt-right thing, I said, look, it doesn't matter that because the media was trying to frame it that, there was Richard Spencer and, the other guys that started the alt-right and they were there, and then, oh, thank God Antifa showed up to, stop them. Well, I've got news. Antifa and the alt-right are just a few degrees away from, being one in the same group. They'll deny it. They'll both deny it, and they'll probably, both want to come after me for saying that. But they're two sides of the same, coin of just vile, disgusting human garbage. And that's really what we have to stand up against now.
Yep, I agree with you. And it's real important that in this election, I mean, it's extremely important that we stand up against these people. You know, and Trump's actually calling out the Antifa now. I didn't see the speech, but I saw some quotes on Twitter. I haven't been paying too much attention to politics. To be honest with you, in the last week or so here, it's just been sort of.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, it's just been sort of grieving. In any case, just trying to take my mind off of it. Okay, but but yeah, Trump's calling out the Antifa now, and I think that's extremely important. That's the danger in America right now. Get those people taking over. You do not want those people running anything. for being around them, you do not want the Antifa, running or choosing your politicians. In these local elections, here in Florida, we get the fight of our lives. We don't get Ron DeSantis, and we get this other guy. I forget what his name is. The socialist is down here. I mean, Florida's going to be in trouble. It's one of the last bastions of conservatism in the United States. That's why they're attacking it. Texas too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. I mean, Colorado used to be the same, and then Colorado, I shouldn't say has gone fully to the left, but they've started going. So I moved to Florida to kind of, join a conservative bastion, only to find out that I'm moving into another battle zone, and same with you. So
Yeah, that's right. You're in Florida. I keep forgetting. We're not very far. Yeah, we're not very far from each other.
Right. No, we're not. I'm and I mean, people can find me. I'm not gonna make it easy for people to find where I'm at either. So
that's good. I think that's a reasonable precaution to take. It's actually a foolish non-precaution for me to not take it. But I'm very public about where I live, and but now I'm not so much of a target these days. Not since people can Google it themselves. But not since Bob Kramer am I a big target. But that was a big thing in terms of getting Trump in office. Exposing these people on that.
I'm not a target either. I will say though, when I told my family about what happened with Leo, they were afraid that you and I could become targets, which is a risk. And I've said this before. I will say it again. I've been depressed before, but I've never been suicidal. So if on the off chance someone were to find me in a suicide situation, it wasn't suicide, and I've always said that. So
guarantee you, it wouldn't be suicide for me.
No.
I have too much to live for. Smile every day. I smile a lot every day. I have a great time, and I show up dead. Somebody come looking for me. My family knows.
Yeah. So
somebody come look. There's somebody to come checking. Yeah, accidents are one thing. They make it look like an accident or a medical condition. That's what you have to deal with. They'll make it look like an accident.
So does my family, and I believe me, I've got contingency plans in place for this show. Well, for this show, and for other things too. But so far I'm pretty blessed to be safe, and but at the same time, I mean, if need be, I'm willing to give it all for this country if need be. So
if you live and you live as someone who's not free, is it worth living? And
No.
I think the answer to that is no. Founding fathers knew that. They were willing to put their lives on the line to live for freedom. And you cease being a human being, right? So there you go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just Leo's death again. It's just chilling what could have happened. But at the same time, I hope to God it was truly and genuinely an accident. And the one thing I would take away is, and I'm sure you would agree, is, no matter what happened, we need to carry on Leo's work, and I would encourage others, to similarly to carrying on Breitbart's work, to carry on Leo's work. That's what he would want, I think.
Absolutely, and I don't think you would mind me mentioning this at all. But Leo had his birthday party, his 50th birthday party in March, which I went out to Portland for, and I wanted a nice gift for him, and I asked James O'Keefe, who is an acquaintance of mine, to autograph a book for him. And not only did James autograph a book for him, he took it to him. So
wow.
Leo had the chance to meet him, and I just was trying to think of something that I could get him that he doesn't already have, which Leo's the kind of guy who, somebody gave an AR. I think Shirley gave an AR, which is great, but I think
I hope
I think that was a great gift. I'm sure she does. I'm sure she still has she still has the book. I mean, I think it's just it's just a great. I just think it was a great thing for James to do before Leo passed away. He's quite shocked that obviously didn't know him very well, but knew his work and knew he was a great citizen journalist and worthy of going out to even to going to his house and bringing him a book, and meeting him and talking to him. That's the kind of guy James is. Just salt of the earth. But Leo was one of the best citizen journalists that were out there. If not the best. He blew. I'll say it again. He blew away me and Laughing at Liberals at an order of magnitude, I believe, in terms of subscribers and in terms of views. I think he's at least double what Mike is now. So, it's just in terms of you look for numbers when you want to measure success, I guess. And in terms of imprints, as we were talking about earlier, Leo. Unsung, just one of these guys whose videos you watched without knowing you were watching Leo's video. That's the thing, But there you go.
I mean, and just as a podcast guest, I mean, he was great about coming on here, whether it be with you or on his own, or our mutual acquaintance Jai Bravo was talking about how she met Leo on that one podcast that we did about Mike Strickland about a year and a half ago now, and he would. I can't say good enough things about him, and I think you're right. I mean, I would certainly say that you're one of the best, if not the best citizen journalist I've met.
I haven't done much working about it. At least it's over a year now, so I really haven't done very much. But yeah, I thank you. I appreciate the compliment. I seen the job and I knew it had to be done. It's the same way Leo is. I think it's the same way. I don't have any training. Leo definitely. I guarantee you, Leo didn't have any training in journalism. I don't have any training in journalism. So we're just people that, listen to Breitbart's message of, pick up a camera and point it at the left. You watch new media.
I've always told people, especially my fellow college students who are interested in this thing, the one thing that you need to read is, Andrew Breitbart's book, Righteous Indignation, Excuse Me While I Save the World, which is a hilarious title, and it's so Andrew, as well. And, I guess, James came out with a book, which I'm reading, I'm not reading, I'm listening to it on, Audible. But,
yeah, this is for James, for the 3 people that are watching your podcast. Read James's book, American Pravda, which I have a copy of. I have an autographed copy in front of me right now. So but this is a very good book also for citizen journalists that are coming up. James's, especially his new videos. Check out his new videos. They got written up well in the Washington Post. I can't believe the Post gave him good coverage. But they really did.
I know, yeah.
But yeah, James has got, he's saved people on tape now. Wow, that's a story. That was this week, right? That was this past week. So that story's still developing.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to have James on the show, and I've tried to get him on, before. But every time I'm about to contact him, he's also about ready to do a big thing. So we always have to, contact me another time, but
he also just lost his media guy, Sam. He just lost his media guy. Not sure what the circumstances there are, but Steve, I can't remember his last name right now. I know from being around there a bit, and he was just a great guy for media. So it's even going to be harder to get him now than it was before. But it's always extremely, we're friends, and I can't even get his attention. He's
right.
He's got a small business up there, and he's trying to stay afloat, and he's got, you know, what did they do? Hire in that last batch? They had 100 agents. 20 agents in the field. So it's just like, you know, it's crazy. You know, it's this crazy, constant. You know, and you're trying to do things like the CIA does without being able to do the things that the CIA does. You know what I mean? Legally. So you have to be careful. It's just it's a 24/7. James is the busiest person. He's probably right up there with Leo in terms of the busiest people that I know. Just very tireless, and so it's not from knowing your podcast or caring. It's just availability. I'm sure.
Right. No, yeah, and I full well know that. I full well know that too. You know, and you know, I'd rather have him out there being busy than you know, coming on my show and, you know, doing anything. I'd rather he'd be out there saving the world rather than just, you know, doing press. But you know, he's someone I've admired too for a long time. So
there's a lot to admire. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Another guy who's not afraid of anything. I feel. You know, I'm kind of, you know that too, the left knows that, you know, if I shrink a little bit like a lily. I've never been in the military, and when they punched me in the face, I got up and walked away, you know, I mean, it's not what a lot of people do. You know, so it's, yeah, James is a he's a lion as well. He's a lion.
Yeah, so, you know, and as I mentioned before, Laura Loomer, she's, you know, she's a beautiful woman with a brass set of balls. So
correct. Come after any of those people, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Do that. I would recommend not crossing James O'Keefe, because you've got to be looking over your shoulder and watching every conversation you have in a public place from now until the day you go to your grave. I guarantee you, because, you know, these people, they don't get mad, they get even. They get more than even. So, you know, pick your targets, Antifa. Pick your targets.
Yeah.
Woe be it to them if anything comes out of that investigation. I'll be the first person to get the police reports when it's all done. And who knows what might come out of that. It's an open investigation. As near as I know right now, it's like Victoria's article, it's still an open investigation. So they don't know the cause. They don't know the causes.
Well, Dan, you know, I understand that, you know, some of this stuff, you know, maybe confidential, and I respect that. But if anything, you know, comes out that's public, you know, that you can share with us. I mean, first of all, you and Leo both have a standing open invitation to come on this show, basically anytime you want to. You know, and it's weird talking about Leo like, you know, he's in the present. That's the other thing.
Hey, if he comes on your show, that will be a well-watched podcast. I guarantee you that, because near as I know, there's no coming back from the other side. I feel he's around us. Definitely feel right for us around.
You know what I mean, though. I mean, it's hard to speak I'm in the past tense, so that was a little, you know, faux pas on my part.
Not real. Not real. Nope.
So, but
really,
yeah.
But we have to talk about it. I think, you know, part of my responsibility as a journalist is to come on here and talk about the realistic possibility that it was. That's the way I would have to feel about it.
Yeah.
Many people who I respect. Victoria Taft is somebody who I respect as a journalist, trained journalist. She wouldn't say something that she couldn't have backup sources for.
Right.
If she's even going down that road, it's definitely a possibility. And that, you know, that was the first. Once someone put that idea, I'm very naive. Once somebody put that in my head, that hey, could he have been murdered? It's like, you know what? It's possible.
So
I call police.
Yeah. Well, for me, it wasn't so. Someone had mentioned that beforehand, and then you know, I was kind of like, no, I think that's kind of a conspiracy theory. But once I saw the Victoria Taft article where she said there's a slight, you know, chance, I said, okay, Victoria's the real deal. She is a, you know, true bona fide journalist, so this might be worth looking into, you know. So.
Okay, let's after you listen to this, do they know someone who, you know, that they would get so mad that they would go to your neighborhood and make a poster of you, a fake wanted poster of you, saying that you are racist, a a fascist, a member of the KKK, a neo-Nazi, take those posters and put them up all over your neighborhood on the poles for your neighbor's street. Luis Martinez and a group of the Antifa people did that to Leo. And his wife comes out of his house and sees a wanted poster, you know, a target on his back, okay, that this is who this person is. They did that to him. So, you know, normal people don't do stuff like that, okay? Normal people don't, you know, get that angry about their politics and you know, when people expose them to go and do things like that. And so would they do that? I would have said no, they wouldn't do it before they did it. Then they did it, you know. So they have gone to friends of Leo's houses and started fires in their driveway after vandalizing their Trump stickers in the back of their vehicles, okay? So these are the kinds of things that these people have done in Portland already, setting fires, okay? So there you go. Would they kill somebody? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, fuck, yeah. These people are, you know, these people are scumbags. That's all. That, you know, and I mean, I was talking to a friend on the phone the other night, and he said it perfectly. He said, you know, he said if your friend Leo was killed, you know, we should pity the person that, you know, did it, because to kill someone merely for having a different, you know, political views than you is insane, and it's also pitiful. So,
I think that the odds of them getting the full justice under the American justice system, if someone did have a hand in the death of Leo Stratton like that, I think is not good. I mean, they may get convicted of something, but the liberal justice system will not. I mean, well, let's not go down that road, but I don't think you'll see justice there. But you know, you have all kinds of people that, you know, there are ex-military people that will pay you a visit on the right, you know, and you will never know they came either. Okay, and they'll take care of their business too. But yeah, woe be it to the Antifa if they. Martinez, if I find out that you had something to do with this, I won't rest until you pay the price, man. And it's, you know, they don't have the death penalty in Oregon anymore, but you know, it's still life. It can still give you life in the Oregon State Penitentiary. So,
yeah.
You know,
all I can say too, and I know we talked about this when we met in person, but thank God for President Donald Trump, because you know, without him in office, America would be a whole lot crazier now. If the bitch, as I call her, were president. I'm not even using the word I want to use to describe you know who. But
yeah, she epitomizes, you know, she was president, she epitomizes corruption. She set the bar. I was thinking about it last weekend. Hillary Clinton had set the bar in terms of corruption that you can get away with, right? Pretty much.
Well, yeah. Well, first of all, you said her name, which was painful to hear, but also
sorry.
No, it's all right, but you know, also, I mean, I've never been able to get over the fact, once I learned that she full well, you know, knowingly, and I suppose this was her job as a lawyer, but you know, she let a convicted child molester off, you know, when she was an attorney, and bragged about it. If that's not evil, you know, I don't know what is that. That makes me want to go full Punisher.
She makes excuses for her husband. What about the Me Too movement and all the women, you know, that were raped by her? It's really well documented that, you know, there were, you know, as you define rape under the women's movement now, they were all definitely raped. Okay, but you know, these women have all come forward and they're all lambasted by the left. You know, there's no truth to it. Blah blah blah. He's the worst offender of them all. He set the bar, okay, for Harvey Weinstein, and you know, and she covers for him constantly. So why does this woman continue to be, you know, lauded by all these women's groups? I don't get it.
I don't get it. But then again, you and I are both white, heterosexual, you know, Republican males living in, backwards South Hick, Florida, or that's what I've been told, at least. So, by my fans, quote unquote. So, but
I live in a downtown cosmopolitan area, and I don't, I don't see myself as being I'm not from the South, and I'm from small towns, but yeah, definitely not a white supremacist, definitely not a racist, definitely not. Despite what they will tell you, but you know what? All white people are racist. So I guess from the view of the left, yes, we are racist. Okay, so, you can't get away from it. It's a part of the culture. So there you go.
Yeah, even and keep in mind that blacks and Cubans are racist too. If they have an R next to their name, they're racist. So
no, not according to what they teach in the public curriculum in Portland. I'd hate to. Let's see if I can remember it. All white people are racist because it's part of the culture. Black people can exhibit racial prejudice, but can never be racist because they are not a part of the predominant culture in America. If they were the predominant culture in America, then they would be able to be racist, but they can't be racist. They can only exhibit racial prejudice. There you go.
Yeah.
You have to think like them. You have to learn to think like they do.
I have for some, and it gives me a migraine. So to try and be in their head. So
yeah, try watching Rachel Maddow. See if you can get through a whole episode. Yeah, not just the clips, but try to watch the whole thing sometime. Oh my god.
Try watching one of Bill Maher's shows sober.
Oh my god.
I have not been able to do it sober. So
I hate that guy, but honestly, we were getting a little bit off topic, but he has called people he has called out Rachel Maddow before. Okay?
Yeah.
And other people too sometimes he's kind of this wild card that every once in a while, it's like a broken clock, I guess. It's right twice a day, right?
Yeah.
Squirrel.
No, I mean I've given him credit where credit is due. I will say that when he had Ben Shapiro on a few weeks ago, and they actually had a pretty respectful conversation, and of course Ben made Bill look like an idiot on his own show.
We'll be it to you if you go against. There's a few people in our business that I would never debate any topic with, no matter how strongly or well educated on it I was. And that's Ben Shapiro will always win if you're on the other side, and Laurie Flexion will always win. They just study debaters. That's all. I mean, they're extremely intellectually talented, but they know the art of the argument, and they're just encyclopedia of facts. So you're going to lose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shapiro against he's going to lose too. It's nobody.
Yeah, I would also say the same of Mark Dice, but I guess to kind of wrap up, bringing it back to Leo, is there this is important, actually. I heard that there was a GoFundMe for Leo's memorial, and then I saw that you said that it might have been fake, but then
I think it's fine.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, I've heard different things about the Proud Boys doing memorials for him.
Yep.
So.
Yep, I have heard. I've had people speak up for it that I know they're very close. So, and I did put that on my Facebook wall afterwards. I put out a word of caution to begin with, but I did clear that up. And if folks want to search on that and help Leo's family and to that's fine. I'm not behind it, and I don't guarantee its validity or anything like that. But there are a lot of people who are helping out Leo's family through that GoFundMe, I think. They had raised, quite a bit of money for Leo, and I think that would be helpful in terms of the memorial and that sort of thing. But I think it's turned out to be okay.
So it is legit then?
I think it is legit, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll link that in the show notes as well, and Dan, thanks for coming on, and once again, I'm, I'm sorry for your loss. You know, I know Leo was, you know, pretty much like your brother, and you know, Leo and I used to talk after you moved down here about how the three of us would, you know, have to get together sometime, and you know.
Well, that's it. You and I need to get together again soon. I think I've canceled on you a couple of times just because we got a bunch of family stuff going on down here. We got a couple of illnesses in the family and that kind of thing. But make a time to come back down your direction again and get a brewski.
Well, maybe we'll come to you. We've talked about going down to St. Pete, so it's been a while since I've been in that neck of the woods too. So. But we can discuss that at a later time.
I got free parking. Yep, come on down.
Yeah. Anyway, though, you know, like I said, thanks for coming on, and you know, I just want to say that this show was dedicated to Leo. We miss you, buddy. So.
God bless you, Leo. We miss you, and you know, we'll see you in the afterlife, and we're going to try and honor you in the best ways we know how. And that was coming on your show, Sam. That was one way I thought that I could honor his memory. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I dedicated an entire show. I was going to talk about the Brett Kavanaugh thing, you know, on the show tonight, and then when I found out about Leo last week, I found out about Leo's show from Scott Osborne, who is a good Facebook friend of mine, and you know. After that, I was like, well, that's it. I need to dedicate a full show to Leo, just because, you know, as a repeat guest, he was on here 6 times, and he you know, he certainly deserved it, you know. So
on Kavanaugh, we can sum it up real quick. Ford doesn't show, and he gets confirmed by Friday.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I'm hoping for. I guess Grousley is willing to give her an extension again because they have to look good. But you know, she might not show. She might. I keep hearing conflicting media reports. So actually, I'm about to do a podcast about that after I wrap up with you. So.
All right. Well, she's afraid to fly, so that's a good excuse.
Yeah. So
I thought I had heard it all. But there you go.
Yeah. Anyway, Dan, thanks.
All right, Sam.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks so much.
And folks, thanks for tuning in. And you know, if you're listening to this on the audio podcast, thanks for listening. If you're watching, thanks for watching. And we'll have the show notes and the links to all of Leo's website and to his YouTube channel. And you know, I suppose linking to his Twitter now is kind of pointless, but I mean, I think it would still be worth it, maybe for some links. So, but anyway, folks, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next week on this podcast from all of us here at NGC Studios. Good night, God bless, and God save this great nation.